as the media reports on the peaceful transfer of power, they downplay all of the ways that the old administration is rebelling from Trump and trying to undermine what we, the voters, have sent Trump to do. Welcome to Doug in Exile. I'm Doug TenNapel. This is where the happy patriots are. This is Stephen Miller, Trump aide, who's going to be King Ding Dong in the next Trump administration, arguing with MSNBC. It's going to be 4 years of this kind of arguing.
You wrote that in. You wrote that in on Pence. You played it all the way up to January 6th. You know what happened after that. A lot of other people have been convicted of crimes, Stephen.
He's saying that a lot of people in the Trump administration were convicted of crimes, and MSNBC is always implying that if they're convicted of crimes, that it had nothing to do with politics, that it was like all straight and above board. And really, when we hear that someone in the Trump administration was convicted of a crime, usually we think, oh, this is lawfare. This is just politics, how they tried to attack his administration.
A lot of innocent people have been persecuted by a corrupt system. What kind of corrupt system throws Republican lawyers in jail for offering good, sound legal advice?
That's exactly what they did to John Eastman. And we've covered all this already. He gave Trump good legal advice on trying a different set of electors on January 6th, and they tried imprisoning him. Fani Willis did it. There's some J6 stuff. I mean, it would have gotten much worse. If Kamala Harris won, more of Trump and his people would be persecuted by the government through laws they would invent. They would invent new procedures. It would all be unprecedented. And thank the Lord, we dodged that bullet because Trump dodged a bullet.
But does nothing with secretaries of state who plainly violated their own state laws and constitutions. How many people are in jail right now? Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are the #1 traffickers of children.
Okay, that's true. And they're not going to get in trouble for it.
President-elect Trump is expected to announce in the coming days that Stephen Miller, his top immigration advisor, will serve as White House Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy. We should remind our viewers he was one of the architects of the family separation policy during the first Trump administration.
By Stephen Miller. And you see who he is. He's a despicable human being that is a racist and a xenophobe.
But also these secretaries of state, like the lady that tried taking his name off of the ballot in Colorado. You just saw them all do these corrupt, invented, dingling ways to go after Trump. That's all he's saying is. But these are the two sides of America is why I put this in here. My liberal friends, they all say that. They go, how can you vote for Trump? He's a felon. And I go, well, he's not a legit felon. They go, he's been convicted of all these things against E. Jean Carroll and against the state and he's going to go into office and never leave. And that's just one narrative. I don't believe it. I think those are all not true. I don't think Trump's going to stay in power. I don't believe Trump was legitimately accused in E. Jean Carroll. I don't believe he had justice when they removed the statute of limitations to go after him. And so I believe that those are criminal persecutions of people like Navarro and Bannon. And that's my opinion. Okay. And then the other side comes in and goes, no, it was all legit. So how can you, and I'll say what you guys did to all the J6ers, all those guys, gave them outrageously expanded sentences, including ladies that just went around kind of quietly saying a prayer in the Capitol after they were let in by feds. So I'm just saying, we all have our side. I'm not saying both sides are equal. I believe my side's right, and the other side is flat out wrong. I believe the Democrats are wrong. What they did is evil. I believe my side is flat out innocent.
You sound more outraged about what, Stephen, I'm going to finish the question. I'll give you time. You sound tonight more outraged about what you allege is that double standard, and I've given you time to explain it, than the people who battered the cops and led to deaths and stormed the Capitol.
And that's a great point by this MSNBC guy. And I agree. I'm angrier. I believe it's more of a breach of our Constitution, what Kamala Harris and Joe Biden have done with this government for 4 years. And I mean, you can name the issue. And I don't believe the examples are trivial. I believe they're major crimes, major people losing their lives, massive death, hundreds of thousands of children vanishing into the darkness because of them. And then they're saying that is not as bad as a bunch of J6ers trespassing and dressed like, the cosplay guy with the buffalo horns at the Nancy Pelosi pulpit. So that is the division in America between the left and the right. And I've seen it played out. I've had to make these arguments to my Democrat friends, and they make them to me all the time.
But you sound more outraged about that than the actual convicted sedition at the Capitol that day, which, by the way, Donald Trump has floated the idea that he would pardon the seditionists who stormed the Capitol violently.
They're not seditionists. That was a giant political cosplay. Liz Cheney, they went on a fishing expedition. They did not let McCarthy choose his Republicans. They went and picked only the squishy Republicans like Kinzinger and Liz Cheney, the ones that they knew that they could control to get their conviction. They edited evidence. They destroyed evidence to get their way. So don't give me this, idea that there was this seditionists. Okay, that was politics. So of course Trump should pardon them. And now the question is, should he not prosecute Hunter Biden, Department of Justice Merrick Garland for being a criminal, Letitia James for being a criminal, Alvin Bragg for being a criminal? Should they not be tried? And I just say, have Alvin Bragg, have each of them be tried in Oklahoma so they know what it's like. The reciprocal of Trump being tried in Manhattan would be Alvin Bragg being tried in the most conservative area of Oklahoma.
That any violence that took place was unacceptable. That is completely separate and different from throwing a grandmother in jail for 5 years who just said a prayer in a hallway after being ushered in by a Capitol police officer and then left.
Burn.
The weaponization of the government. There's a guy who posted a meme about Hillary Clinton who's in jail right now. Mackey.
Also true. Hopefully, since Trump won, maybe he'll commute his sentence and let him go. But yeah, that's one of the few Americans that have been thrown in prison for his free speech.
The weaponization of government is the beginning of the end of American democracy. And every one of your viewers and listeners should understand, when you have a country where you can throw people in jail for violations of misinformation, for engaging in free speech, for engaging in good legal advice, for challenging illegitimate election results, you're not a free country anymore.
That's our point of view, guys, on the left. We're saying that if the government can be weaponized against the citizens in that way, yes, that's worse than what happened on January 6th. Yes, that is more of a threat to America surviving than January 6th. Yes, it is more of a breach of our Constitution. It's more of a breach of our norms. It is more dangerous of an overthrow of America than January 6th was. Get that into your heads. That's what we believe. Now, we may disagree, but I'm only telling you why we kind of look at January 6th and go, kind of a minor trespassing. Trump said we should try a different set of electors. It didn't work.
Yeah, Terry, what's really notable is that some of President-elect Trump's first picks for key positions in his next administration are immigration hardliners. And that gives you an indication of just how seriously Trump is taking his campaign vow to proceed with mass deportations.
Okay, we're going to go into the rest of his cabinet as he picks them.
Obviously, we've seen the president-elect name a number of people to his new administration, from your GOP colleague Elise Stefanik to U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, Stephen Miller, Deputy Chief of Policy, and also Tom Homan, who he's named as a border czar.
Well, look, I think the election results made clear this is going to be a very challenging time.
But right now, I thought I'd wrap it up just on those guys, that Stephen Miller's officially in now after being Trump's aide forever. This looks to be a great team. They're going to focus on immigration first, and I'll let you guys know as they develop. But Elon Musk is influencing this whole thing. We'll get into more of that on the next video. I'm Doug in Exile. Thank you guys so much for watching all the way to the end. Now give us a thumbs up.